You will never understand what I've been through. Never. Like, seriously, you will never understand. And obviously, that's the reason why I'm showing up the way I'm showing up in this connection, because obviously what I've been through has caused me to have to show up like this. So that is what I'm using to justify why I'm choosing to show up this way. And if you don't know how to just accept that this is just how I am and learn to work with it, then I don't even understand why you're in a connection with me as a friend if you don't understand that I'm going to be using the experiences I know you'll never understand that I've been through in order to use it as a crutch to continue to show up the way I want to show up in a connection with you and towards you as a person, even if it is abusive emotionally and mentally towards you and spiritually. That is what was done to me. So you should be holding space to allow me to do it to you, because you should know that obviously this is coming from a much deeper place, and you should just allow me to just show up this way with you without being responsible for myself, if you were a real friend or colleague.
Huh. How long have you been able to get away with stuff like this by using that kind of stupid excuse? Exactly. Because it really is stupid.
What are you talking about? I'm not getting away with anything. Obviously, me using my trauma as a crutch to be able to continue to operate the way I want to operate isn't me getting away with anything. It's me letting people know that this is just how I am because of what I've been through. And so when I do things that are obviously disrespectful or abusive to others, that they should just know that they need to accept me as I am, where I'm at, and know that I'm not going to change, because obviously the reason for my actions is because of my own trauma experiences that I still have with me that I'm not choosing to work through at all. What do you mean how long I've been getting away with this? I've been like this for years. What are you talking about? The heck? I've also experienced people leaving my life because of it, obviously. But I'm not allowing that to change who I am. This is just who I am. And people that really love me should be staying in my life, but when they don't, they're showing me that they don't love me at all. So obviously, I should be thanking them for leaving my life.
So you exploit someone's love for you or genuine care, empathy, and compassion through utilizing that access you gain through those emotions to abuse them. And you justify it by using your trauma as a crutch. And you expect people to stay and continue to be abused by you instead of realizing that people will choose themselves to continue to protect themselves from being harmed from people just like you. But for some reason in your mind, you have justified that if people don't know how to unconditionally love you while you continue to hurt them mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you've justified in your mind that they don't love you. When really you exploited their love for you and used it against them in order to continue abusing them. You do realize that you're the problem, right? And they chose themselves to continue living their lives because they can't live their life with you in it because of who you are being as a person, and that you consciously are still choosing to be because you want to use your trauma as a crutch to justify your abusive behavior towards others. And then you guilt them or blame them when they don't compensate in the areas you want them to, that require them to abandon themselves in order to stay in a connection with you. When you know you're the problem. but you redirect it as them being the problem. When you openly talk about you knowing your traits are rooted in your trauma, and you've normalized it and desensitized yourself to see it so normally as being not an issue, that what you've decided is an issue is when someone chooses themselves over you, because you're still consciously choosing to use your trauma as a crutch to justify your own behavior that's harming and hurting others. Do you understand the mental cognitive dissonance you've developed through you using your trauma as a crutch here? And then guilting people for protecting and saving themselves from it by removing themselves from your life. Do you understand why you're the problem, not them? Do you also understand that nobody needs to go through what you've been through to understand what pain and suffering is? Nobody needs to go through what you have been through to understand what pain and suffering is. Everyone has their own experiences that lead them to their own experiences of what they're meant to experience, and their own life experiences of what pain and suffering is going to look like for them. There is no one definition of this. There isn't. But to approach things through "you don't know what I've been through and you will never understand" is a very egoic, wounded ego that lives in that chooses to live in their own suffering and personal pain on purpose, intentionally, for the pure purpose of wanting to feel some sort of sense of superiority by holding it like a badge of honor, in order to use that position to continue to abuse and harm others. And you've normalized this, but see nothing wrong with it. The comprehension here is what I am helping you digest, and hopefully either you retain this or you write something down around this, because one day when you're ready, hopefully, you will see what I'm trying to say here. If you approach things through stating "you don't know what I've been through, you will never understand," and then you list off your trauma as some sort of resume to be approved through some sort of subconscious interview to exploit someone else's empathy and compassion and humanitarian side, to abandon themselves to continue to be there for you when they know they're being abused by you, that is some sick shit. That is very sick. Really listen to yourself. Pay attention. Know what you are doing to people when you act like this. I ain't sick. You're sick. Because you don't know how to just accept me as I am. Girl, bye. You're obviously the problem.